You won't believe the kind of drama unfolding at the Central University of Technology in South Africa. We're talking about a CFO, a jaw-dropping R600 million claim, and a lie so bold it could win an Oscar. Grab your popcorn, because this story has twists, turns, and a whole lot of accounting that clearly didn't add up. Let's dive into the wild saga of how a top financial officer allegedly fumbled the bag, the reputation, and maybe even the whole university's trust.
Is CUTUS officially liquidated?
Yes, Honorable Member.
CUT is 100% sole shareholder of CUTUS.
Yes, Honorable Member.
Is it true that the CUTUS board was dissolved and an interim board was appointed?
That's true.
Is it true that the interim board was constituted 100% of CUT executives and members of council?
That's correct.
Is that good corporate governance in terms of the Companies Act and King 4?
That's what council came to a resolution to do in the interim period as the liquidation
But
process
is that
was
right?
going.
Is that right? You have done something wrong earlier procedurally too, where unilaterally you appointed someone as a dean who's a foreign national and did not inform the Department of Education. You've done that intentionally. Now we're sitting with a situation where you represent an institution who's 100% shareholder of CUTUS, and council decides that you are a shareholder and you are the executive, or you are responsible for the subsidiary of CUTUS. That is not correct. It's not good corporate governance. Chairperson of council, were you there? When VC says the council did that, is it you she's referring to?
No, it was before my time, to the best of my knowledge, Honourable Member.
And when you came, you saw that?
Yeah, when I had joined, it was at the decision point to liquidate. So, and that's what happened subsequently.
Do we have the High Court order for?
Yes, it was a court application.
Do we have the order? Is it the liquidation order?
Yes, I don't have it with me now, but there was a liquidation court order. Yes.
Court order.
Yeah.
So, as we speak now, CUTUS is officially liquidated.
So
the court has said you must liquidate. I just want to confirm that. The court
Yes.
said,
yeah.
which you, for the record, is going to give us that court order. The court said you must liquidate. Is that what you're saying?
So the university brought an application to court through its attorneys to liquidate CUTUS. The matter was heard by a judge. The judge then agreed to issue the liquidation order, meaning that immediately at that point, a liquidator was appointed. The liquidator is now dealing with the liquidation process. It'll take at least 2 years or so before the final liquidation order is granted.
Before the final liquidation order is granted?
Yes, so
But
you get the
preliminary, so
Yeah.
that you can start the process.
That's correct.
So you are now in the process of taking the assets, paying creditors, that kind of thing.
That is a position, Honourable Member.
All right. CFO, are you the acting CEO of CUTUS?
I was the interim. Now it's done after the liquidation.
And that makes it right.
Kagaman,
And that makes it right.
it depends.
That makes it right. The fact that you are the CFO of the 100% shareholder who owns the subsidiary, and you are the interim CEO. Is that not a conflict of interest?
None. There's no conflict.
Please explain that. You are the chief executive officer in the subsidiary, and you are the chief financial officer in the holding, let's say, company. You are saying there's no conflict of interest. It's two separate legal personalities. So you make a decision here, and as the CEO, you execute it.
Why I'm saying there's no conflict, I'm not a member of the council on the other side as a shareholder. I've been seconded as an interim for the CUT's operation because we can't leave it vacant without interim. That's why I said it was not conflict.
It didn't have to be vacant. It didn't have to be vacant.
I'm taking it through so that at least we clarify this issue to say conflict of interest.
Yes, that's
I said
what
there was no conflict of interest.
Both are executive positions.
Yes, you can do that as executive.
You can be the
Was it
CEO.
CUT doesn't report to the management, it reports directly to the council.
You know, I'm not arguing with you. I'm accepting your submission. But I'm just asking you again, are you sure that what you're stating for the record? I'm
sure what I'm stating about on the record, yes.
It was correct of you to serve as CFO of CUT and interim CEO of CUTIS. It was correct.
I still said yes, it was correct.
All right. Is it true that CEO of CUTIS, is it true that you received 600 million award from the Community Safety Roads and Transport Department?
It's not true. There was no 600 million received.
What was the award from the department that was awarded to CUTIS CEO?
It's awarded to CUT. Not to CUTIS.
CEO, are you stating for the record?
Yes.
There was not a situation where CUTIS applied, the department awarded CUTIS, and then thereafter, CUT's intervention, the department withdrew from the award to CUTIS.
I'll give you the correct version of it.
Please.
CUT applied under the FEBIT, which we've got a civil lab. FEBIT, the one that we were talking about.
Falls under which?
FEBIT is it's a faculty of engineering, building and environment and IT. Applied through and aspects that they have, civil lab, they put together in project management, the proposal that goes to the Department of Roads.
So CUTIS did not apply?
Didn't apply, doesn't even have even a document.
They don't
but
have a document?
Yes.
Chairperson, I put it to you.
Yes.
I have a document from the department confirming CUTIS as the awardee and the retraction. I have the document. I shall supply that document and you should supply CEO the opposite. You must remember again, you are stating whatever you're stating for the record.
I need to clarify as well, just to go further. Here we talk about step by step, member. CUT and CUT FEBIT faculties, experts, civil lab, applied, put together the proposal to the provincial government of Free State for road, for potholes patching. Because CUTIS is an enterprise subsidiary for university, will be becoming we call it project management in terms of administration work. When they appoint, in that instances, there was an issue in terms of appointment. It was supposed to come to CUT, not to the not to the project facilitators or project administrators.
So it did come to CUTUS initially.
Then
Don't lie now. You're already in the corner.
I'm
So
giving
speak the
you to
truth.
say where these original applications.
Do you know what
and
you
the, and
did?
the bid document.
This chair is not slow.
Yes.
It's no use you look at him. He heard what I heard.
Yeah.
At first you said CUTUS
Didn't apply.
didn't receive the award. Then you want to go step by step to make us now believe, as the project manager, it did initially, and then it was given to CUT. Is that your version now, your latest version?
I'm giving to say the project is for CUT, for FABIT, and
Yes,
also I want
you have-
correctly to the CUT.
CUT,
And it's still running at the moment.
who did the
active.
department give the award to? Does the formal document say the initial ones? Does it say CUTUS or does it say CUT?
We have to check on
No,
that one
you know.
department.
You were just confident now to say there's no documentation. I'm the one who said there is. Now you need to go check. And it's on record. And I gave you opportunity to confirm. Now I say to you that it has been given to CUTUS as your subsidiary, which you were the CFO of and the CEO of. It was given to CUTUS and then it was retracted by the department from CUTUS and then given to CUT.
I need to clarify that I was not even that I was not interim CEO by then.
You're right. I'm now speaking
Yes.
to you as the one.
I'm talking about the
I'm now
transition.
speaking to you as the
Yes.
one. Because now you are counting as the last CEO.
I agree with you.
Exactly. That's what I'm doing. And you just spoke as such. And you lied. Almost done, Chair. CUT, interim CEO, is liquidated. Why is that announcement not on the official website? The cutus.co.za.
That's the work that liquidator does. They have to take over everything, website, everything, administration, and so forth.
Instructed by
Liquidator is
who?
the one who have to announce,
Instructed by whom?
but the High Court.
No, the High Court can't tell him go to the website and tell the people.
I'm saying as it is, the liquidator, when you're appointed, take over everything and notify creditors, notify all stakeholders, notify everything through the liquidation process. Act.
Okay, CFO, the liquidator is now dealing with the creditors. The preferential creditors is the previous employees of CUTUS, whom you are responsible for as CEO. How many employees lost their jobs?
We talk about 10.
It's actually 15, CFO. 15 people,
Some of the contract already expired.
but they lost their jobs. 15 people lost their jobs. How many people were still there when the liquidation, in this liquidation process? How many, is there still people there?
No one at the moment.
So how many did you retain as part of the liquidation process?
None at the moment.
You retained 4 CEO. Are you stating for the record that you did not retain 4?
Liquidator only asked for the contract for, not it's for contract administrator just to get the contracts. It's on a basis of the hourly rate. And also,
How many people did you retain?
okay, let's just give this process so that at least we don't
The
want
question
to, I don't
is
want to
simple.
contradict ourselves here. Liquidator,
The question is simple, CFO. How many people did you retain that was working for QTAS that is now working at CUT? Now that there where you are the CFO.
no, we didn't retain anyone
Sure.
from the process, but however, I'm going to tell you what happened now.
Okay, let me
We-
rephrase.
yes.
Because my time is going. Is it okay? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm almost done. So can we just speed it up? How many people did you retain? My time is up. How many people did you retain?
CUT didn't retain anyone from the quotas on the contract of the quotas. But however,
Okay, how
those
many
who-
people that was at QTAS is now at CUT?
the one applied so far is only one who applied and get a post.
So
One
you,
at the moment.
you are 100% sure of that?
Yeah, unless maybe the others.
No, please.
I'm talking about for the post by HR, but I can confirm if the other position that they applied will get the positions.
Chair,
I don't want to
put
contradict ourselves on that.
I put it, it's 4. 6 was dismissed.
Hold on first. Where is the HR person? Are they not here?
Well, HR reports to me, Chair, but I'm not aware of any application from QTAS.
Then answer the question. How many were retained? Do you know?
No, I don't know, Chair.
Okay.
Okay. 6 was dismissed. You also don't know about that. Out of
Chair, we
10?
need to clarify to say when the liquidation comes as dismissed, their contract terminated. I think we need to get that right.
Yes, but it should be terminated 45 days after, and it wasn't. So I don't have time to go into that.
Yeah.
So we're not going to talk about contract terminated because that process wasn't followed in terms of the Insolvency Act. Yes? So therefore, I'm using the terms retained or dismissed. Then, out of the 6, you have one that is back now in finance as the CFO. Is it correct?
Yes.
And she worked for QTAS. And she's back, working now for CUT. The CEO, in the process of liquidation, she's removed or she's dismissed. The CFO of CUT, she's now employed in your department as CFO, one of them, correct?
All the employees for quotas.
Okay, but is
now
that
I just want
person-
to know. We want to give the right because I think I want to follow it right. All the employees for quotas who work in quotas, they are given opportunity to apply if there are vacancies for CUT.
And all of them has applied. And we're
All-
going to show you.
Yes.
We can put to you the applications.
All right.
So they all have applied. That's why I'm asking you not to do that. Out of that, because all of them obviously wants to be retained. They have no jobs. So all of them would apply. The liquidator is paying, out of the 4 that still remains, the liquidator is paying 2 salaries out of that 4. We're going to show that too. And then there are 2 that are not being given a cent. And they've begged you for the UIF certificates, and then you backdated the date of termination. We're going to show that too. And you know why I'm going to show it, Mr. CFO? Because the 2 that you are paying and the 2 that you are not paying, the 2 that you're not paying is the only 2 colored females that was part of that group. And we're going to show the email exchanges and how unfairly you are treating them, and how arrogant you are in your expression to them when they are merely seeking to get back into work. There are vacancies that they qualify for. They are not considered. Because you control both sides. Chairperson, I would like to request these individuals that are negatively affected by how CUT is operating in EE and in terms of this liquidation process, that we look deeper into it and ensure that there is fair treatment, just like the CEO/CFO is doing with the rest of affected staff. They must do the same with the colored complement of the staff. Please, Chair. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Maseko, you had one.
Now, let's rewind. The Central University of Technology, better known as CUT, has been a respected institution in the Free State. It's not just a place of learning, it's been a cornerstone for innovation, education, and shaping young minds. But as with most stories that start well, there's always someone who decides to spice things up. And this time, the spice came in the form of a chief financial officer who told the world, or at least a committee, that the university had received a whopping R600 million from the Department of Higher Education. Sounds great, right? A cool 600 million to boost infrastructure, roll out new programs, maybe even replace those ancient desktop computers students always complain about. Except, there's just one problem. That money, it didn't exist. It was never received. Not even a cent. Not even monopoly money. So how does a CFO, someone whose job is literally to manage money, just casually drop a lie of that magnitude? R600 million isn't exactly pocket change. This isn't like telling your boss you forgot to submit an invoice. This is like saying you won the lottery, bought a Ferrari, but then oops, forgot to mention it was all a dream. Now let's break down what actually happened. The CFO, appearing before the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on Higher Education, made a statement that CUT had received R600 million. He claimed this money was part of a broader funding initiative and had already been transferred by the department. It sounded official, confident, maybe even routine. But here's where the story crashes into a wall. Representatives from the Department of Higher Education were like, hold up. Say what now? Because according to them, no such amount was ever allocated to CUT. Not in 2023, not in 2024, not in any 5-year plan. It was news to them, and not the good kind. As the story gained traction, media outlets jumped on it. Questions started flying. Where did this figure come from? Was it a misunderstanding? Was there a secret bank account somewhere? Or was someone just trying to flex with imaginary billions? The university eventually had to release a statement. And surprise, surprise, they distanced themselves from the CFO's claim. According to their official response, the CFO had misspoken. Misspoken. That's like saying someone accidentally robbed a bank. You don't just misspeak R600 million into existence. But it didn't stop there. The CFO tried to clarify, saying he had been referring to potential funding, or maybe expected funding, that was still under discussion. Which, again, makes no sense. You don't walk into Parliament and talk about hypothetical cash as if it's sitting in the account. That's like inviting your friends to a dinner you haven't cooked, in a house you don't own, with furniture you saw on Pinterest. At this point, the damage was done. Parliament was furious. The public was confused. And students, well, they were just hoping their fees would be paid from this mysterious pot of gold. But let's zoom out for a second. Why would someone lie about receiving that kind of money? There are a few possibilities, none of them good. Option 1. He genuinely misunderstood internal communications and thought the money had already arrived. If that's the case, it raises serious concerns about how financial information is tracked and communicated at the university. You'd think someone in charge of finances would double-check the bank balance before announcing it to the government. Option 2. He deliberately exaggerated to impress Parliament or to make the university look like it was flush with funding. Maybe he thought it would boost confidence or distract from other financial issues brewing in the background. Or option 3, and this is where it gets dark, it was part of a larger plan to mislead or manipulate future budgets. Because if Parliament believes you already received R600 million, they might be less likely to allocate more funding. Or they might question what you're doing with the money. Either way, it's not a smart move. Now, let's talk consequences. The university has since launched an internal investigation. The CFO has reportedly been placed on special leave, because of course, no drama is complete without special leave. That's corporate speak for, go sit in a corner while we figure out how bad you messed up. The Department of Higher Education has also demanded a full explanation, and there's talk of possible disciplinary action or even criminal charges if any wrongdoing is uncovered. Because remember, this wasn't just a fib at a dinner party. This was a public statement in a government forum, and misrepresenting finances in that context could have serious legal repercussions. Meanwhile, students and staff at CUT are left wondering what this means for them. Will this affect future funding? Will it damage the university's reputation? Will they still get the new Wi-Fi system they were promised back in 2021? There's also a broader question. How many other institutions are getting away with dodgy financial claims? If one CFO can walk into Parliament and drop a phantom R600 million, who's to say this isn't happening elsewhere, just on a smaller scale? It highlights the importance of oversight, transparency, and actual accountability, something South African institutions have been struggling with for years. And let's be honest, the timing couldn't be worse. Universities across the country are facing funding challenges. Students are struggling with fees, infrastructure is crumbling in some places, and academic staff are constantly asking for better resources. So when someone fabricates R600 million out of thin air, it's not just embarrassing, it's insulting to those genuinely fighting for every rand they can get. Now, some people on social media took the opportunity to have a little fun with the story. There were memes, of course. One showed a photo of the CFO with the caption, "Just manifesting millions, bro." Another joked that he must have thought the R600 million was in his dreams and accidentally said it out loud. Because if there's one thing South Africans do well, it's turning a scandal into top-tier comedy. But behind the jokes is real frustration. South Africans are tired of corruption, tired of lies, tired of being told stories that fall apart the second you scratch the surface. And this incident, as ridiculous as it is part of a much bigger pattern of mismanagement in public institutions. So what happens next? Well, the university has promised to get to the bottom of it. Parliament will likely push for answers, and the public will be watching closely. If the investigation reveals intentional wrongdoing, we could see legal action, possibly even criminal charges. If it turns out to be a genuine mistake, though how you mistake 600 million is still beyond me, then at the very least, someone's career is probably over. But perhaps the most important takeaway here is that trust, once broken, is hard to rebuild. Universities are supposed to be pillars of integrity, places where truth matters. When the people running them start inventing numbers, it undermines everything they stand for. So to the CUT CFO, wherever you are right now, whether you're refreshing your CV or Googling how to explain lying in Parliament, we hope you've learned a valuable lesson. The truth may not always sound impressive, but at least it doesn't get you suspended and roasted on national TV. And to everyone watching, remember this: if something sounds too good to be true, especially when it involves government money, it probably is. Always follow the money, ask the questions, and don't let anyone talk about millions like they're casual confetti. Thanks for watching, and if you ever find yourself tempted to say your bank account just grew by R600 million overnight, maybe just don't.